between that time that we talked about, no later than 9, I think it's 9:15 is the latest, because we want to get ourselves together. All right, so now you got your materials from me and you're on your way to your testing site. You get to your testing site with your laptop. Please, I'm asking all test administrators, please use their laptop, not a computer there, because all computers are going to be used for the most part in most of the rooms. So bring your laptop. If not, we'll work something out. You're sitting down at your laptop, you've logged in, and now you're going to go to PearsonAccessNext.com, okay? Once you go to Pearson Access Next, you will go to this particular website, all right? And now the site is actually live now, so when you go into it, you'll see some of the testing, sessions, and let's do that now. I'll show you what it looks like. You sign in. My information should already be in here. Let's type it in. Let's see. Okay, and this is our live site. Now, by the way, remember, if, what I suggest you do is you can work along with me. So if you can pause this video and then log in yourself, and then have the video playing on one side and you're actually practicing on another. That's the best way to do this, I find, but just a suggestion. All right, you have logged into your test site, and what you're going to do is go to where it says sessions. Okay, remember, this is a live site because it's blue. I'm going to go to the practice site in a moment, because I don't want you. Please do not go to this particular site or do anything in this site until the day of the test. But I'm just going to tell you what it looks like. So you go to testing here, you go to sessions, because that's where you want to find your sessions. Okay, once you have entered the session site, now what you need to do is find your sessions. You can do that 2 ways. Number one, you can go here where it says find sessions. You can type in your name. I'll type in a teacher's name. Let's do EB. Okay, EBY. Okay, so once as soon as I open that up, Miss EB has 2 sessions here. Okay, and most teachers will have a session A and a session B. And as I stated in our training, the reason being because it's going to take about 4 days to do the ELA 10, and that one teacher, Miss EB, have to see two groups of her students. She's going to see 30 one day, that will take 2 days, and she's going to see 30 another day, that will take 2 more days, and that will take care of most of her students. All right, so that's what's going to happen for the majority of the teachers, and you have an A and a B, and you'll see that. So on the first day, you're going to use A, and the second day, you're going to use A, third day B, fourth day B. That's kind of the idea. All right, so that's what it looks like, okay? So for our purposes, I want to go to the practice site only because of the things I'm about to show you. So it's the same thing. Let's go to our practice site. Same situation, I'm sure. Same way, yep, log in here. Should be the same username and password. And remember, as I stated before, how do we get to the training site? You go to PearsonAccessNext.com, and then at the bottom you'll see where it says related links. You'll see MD training site, and that takes you right here. Remember, in the MD training site, you can go in, you can practice it and make all the mistakes you want to, but the real site is what you cannot do yet. Okay. All right. So just like we did in the real site, we go to sessions. Okay. We go to find sessions. So I'm going to do my name, Dennis, because I've created some sessions here. And then voila, all of the sessions I've created and played around with have popped up. If by some chance you did type your last name and didn't pop up, you can go here to search bar right here, hit the drop down menu, show all sessions, and it'll show all the sessions that I have created in this practice site. All right. And that's what we're going to, so let's do that. Let's go to another practice session. I'm going to use one of the sessions we've already started with, and then I'm going to use a session that I have not touched, but I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, so let's do this. So you clicked on this. You clicked on the sessions that you're going to use. I'm sorry. And then you're going to go to the top left-hand corner. right here where it says, now you found your session, now you're going to go to students in sessions. Okay, remember, you're doing all this, your students have not arrived yet. You're taking care of this before the students get here. Just set yourself up. All right, you clicked on students in sessions, and now you want to find your students. At first glance, it looks like nothing's here, but it is here. It's just kind of hidden. What you're going to have to do is on the left-hand side, you're going to click on the session that you are using. Now, I'm going to use Lewis's only because I'll explain in a minute why. So I'm going to click on a session, and voila, pops up. This pops up your monitoring tool here, start button, documents, update cache, refresh. And below, you have your list of all your students. You chose 2 students for practice, but that's what it looks like, okay? So what you're gonna do as a test administrator before your students gets here, you set yourself up. This is kind of where you stop. What I recommend, you don't have to do this, but this is what I recommend for most test administrators. The last thing I want you to do is to start your session before your students get here. Remember, there's no timer on the PARCC. The timer is the time that you keep. So once you start a session, it's not necessarily going to keep time per se, but it doesn't matter about you starting. You can start it. And the reason why I tell teachers to go ahead and do that, because once the kids get there and you're doing attendance and you're logging people in, most people tend to forget to start the session. So when the kids actually are trying to get in, they can't because we haven't started the session. So what I tell them is press this green button, right? And once you press the green button, this is what happens. It turns red, okay? And now you have your monitoring tool now pops up. Now the session is open for students to get in. And that's where you stop. Okay, now the next step is students have arrived to your room. We sit them at a computer, and we're gonna have students take attendance. You're gonna take the students' attendance along with what computer they're sitting at. My goal is to number all the computers so we know where a student is sitting at a computer. Okay, so they've taken attendance, and now the next thing you're going to do is have students access their computer to get to log into a computer. So they can do 2 ways. They can use their Google username and password that they normally use the PGCPS information. If by some chance they don't know that, I'm going to give you a universal PARCC password and username to get them in. Now remember, you cannot give students this universal username and password. It's for you and your eyes only. You're going to have to log them in yourself for those students who do not know. Okay, that may take a little time, but it's important. Students are not allowed to have this password. Just as support for those students who can't get in. All right, now once they are in there and they're at their computer, the next thing you're going to have your students do, I'm going to minimize this for a second. Next thing you're going to have them do is that they do not need to go to the internet anymore. That's my lovely family. They do not need to go to the internet anymore. They're now going to use this test nav icon. No internet. They're going to click on the test nav icon, right? Have them double click and open that up. Okay, and once they open it up, now you're going to hand students the username and password to get into this session. So I'm going to give all of you individual sheets for the students. They're going to have what you see here. Student test ticket will have their name, the birth date, and here the username and the password is what they're going to use to get into the session. Okay. Now, once they've done that and they've gotten to the session, you're going to immediately see it start turning green. This gray now means they're ready. Here's the color legend to tell you what the colors mean. So gray means that they're ready. Once they start logging in, you start seeing it's green. All your students have logged in because here again it's green. It's red if a student has exited, and we'll talk about that, and then obviously blue when it is complete. Now in the past, we've had at this point, once students have logged into the session, the next thing we used to do is give them the seal code. And remember, you're going to read your script, and your script will kind of take you through all this, but just kind of give you a brief overview of what the script is saying. But we're no longer going to do sessions anymore. We're no longer going to do seal codes anymore. Seal codes are not necessary. You do not have to write seal codes on the board. Now what you're going to do as a test administrator, once everyone is in, all you're going to do is just unlock I already unlocked it. Okay, it's gonna start locked. All you're gonna do is press this unlock for unit 1, because I was doing unit 1, and then now you'll see that students now can just click on their blue button and the test will start. No more seal codes. Okay, excellent, which I love. So now you as a test administrator has more autonomy. You have power to lock and unlock individual units as opposed to seal codes. Remember the goal is to test together. So if a student is testing unit 1 and that student is done, but the rest of the class isn't done, that the time is still going on, that student have to wait quietly while the rest finish their test with the time that's provided for them. They cannot go on to the next unit. That's not what we do. We try to do it as a classroom, do it together. The goal is to test 1 unit on the first day and 2 units on the second day. It is not ideal to do all 3 units. However, if you think you can, that's more power to you, but I do not recommend all 3 units at all, just because of the importance of the test, and we want to ensure that our students use all the time that's allotted. Remember, the first unit is 110 minutes, the second I think is 90 minutes, the third is 110 for ELA, and then for algebra is all 90 minutes for each set, for each unit. So that the idea is for them to really take their time to use that, to use the time up. Okay, so that's really what you do. And then once the student is complete and the time is up, there's a button that says submit all answers, and then once they submit it, what was green now will turn blue. All right. If by some chance the student did exit out improperly, incorrectly, what you're going to find out is that it's going to turn red. So here's the indicators. We're in unit 1. It should be green when it's testing, but let's say it turns red. That means the student has somehow exited the test incorrectly. So your goal now is to resume that test. Okay, to turn that test from red to orange, and that's the goal. So here's how you do it. Let's say this first student here, and let's imagine that their session is red, or their session is red. Unit is red, I'm sorry. What you're going to do is you're going to click on this box right here, the little box. If the whole class by some chance happened, you can click on the whole entire box here, and everybody would do it. But individually, you click on that box, and then you're going to go back up to the left-hand side where it says students and sessions, and now you're going to choose an action. Okay, hit that drop-down menu. And then in that menu, you're going to go to where it says resume students and sessions, okay? And that is right here, resume student tests, rather. Okay, you're going to highlight that box there, click start, okay? And then now, what will happen if the test since the test is not actually live, it's not red, we can't do too much, but what they will do is they will give you the option to click the same little box to ensure that is who you want to identify. A student, which is this one here. We'll click on that, just this little box right here, and then you say resume, and then now that will turn orange. Okay, that student now, which once was red, will now be orange. Okay, and now once that is orange, imagine now it's orange. Now the student is going to use their username and password to get back into the session, and then it'll simply turn green, and it will begin where they left off. And that's how you simply resume a session. Okay. Last thing, please remember, your goal is when you finish your unit, you want to ensure that all students who are testing have completed that unit. They cannot come back and finish a unit. They have to complete a unit while they're sitting with you. Okay. That's why we're starting with testing in the morning, early. All right. So please make sure that that unit is complete. Unit 1 is complete. Okay, and then the next day, unit 2. We've had some teachers asking, well, Mr. Dennis, what if I do unit 1 and then we have enough time to do unit 2? Then you're more than welcome to do unit 1 and unit 2 the first day if you're comfortable with it, if your students are comfortable. I have no problem with that. But here again, I just want to reiterate that it is not ideal to do 3 sessions at once. It's a lot for our students. You want to ensure that they use all the time that is allotted to them. Okay. And so that's it. That's pretty much in a nutshell of how you administer and monitor students' tests. Once again, you'll know that you are done when your entire unit is blue and the students have completed their test. And then all you're going to do is just exit out. You're not going to stop anything. Just leave it right there, because you're going to be back the next day, or I will stop the test at the completion of the PARCC administration. All right, and there you have it. Have any questions, please do not hesitate to give me a call. All right, and happy testing, everyone. Happy testing.